So last week, Google unveiled Genie 3, their flagship infinite world model where you get to simulate an environment and interact with it like in a real video game. And suddenly all the video game stocks absolutely plummeted out of fear that this might be the beginning of the end of the video game industry. And then something even more interesting happened. A Chinese tech company called Robiant released their own open source Genie competitor, which appears to have even better graphics than its Google counterpart. And now all of a sudden the floodgates are open for the race to determine which company will be the first one to replace traditional video games with this new kind of gaming tech. But while everyone is hyping up this new infinite world model craze, I'm here to tell you this might just be a hyped up promise with no actual substance. What makes me so sure of it? Well, that's what we're gonna talk about in today's video. So as soon as Genie 3 came out, I rushed to the site to try it for myself. But as soon as I clicked the Explore button, I was presented with a disappointing 404 button, and that's because I live in Canada, and for the time being, Google has only allowed the citizens of the United States to try out this state-of-the-art technological wonder. So obviously I turned on my VPN and tried again from a US location, and this time I was met with another disappointing rejection, stating that I need to be an Ultra Plan member to access this revolutionary piece of software. And if you're wondering how much does the Ultra Plan cost, well, let's just say it's a bit too much of what I would be comfortable paying just to try out this overhyped AI tool. But this begs the question, why is it so hard to get your hands on Genie 3 in the first place? And the answer to this question will be very important to our story, but I'll get back to that later in this video. So although I had no luck or no disposable funds to try out Genie 3, meanwhile, luckily over the other side of the globe, a Chinese company called Robiant, which appears to be a subsidiary to Ant Group, which in turn is an affiliate company of Alibaba Group, which happens to be the same company that owns Quen, came out with their own infinite world model called LingBot World, which surprisingly is open source. So that means we can actually test it out and see what it's capable of. And looking at their examples, it looked absolutely stunning. But once I started inspecting the project page, I was met with another huge disappointment. Although their project page is filled with example videos where you can freely walk around the space with your arrow keys, in reality, this model version that involves full character controls is still under development. They are planning to release LingBot Fast, which would be a full Genie 3 equivalent, but we don't know when that is coming yet. For the time being, we get access to their 14 billion parameter base model, which offers, quote, high fidelity, controllable, and logically consistent simulations. But basically the only thing this model is capable of doing as of now is generate a video. Yep, just a video. So I was kind of confused, where does the control factor come in? Well, they do have the option to provide your own intrinsic camera position values, so you can in a sense control the camera movement, which I guess offers an alternative to navigation using the arrow keys, but you would have to pre-record that. How is it different from any other video generator out there that also offers the ability to control camera movements? Well, here's the key distinction. In a regular AI video generator, the AI model tries to always predict the next frame as the reference video progresses. And we've seen in many internet meme videos how terribly wrong this gets if the video just keeps on going. And that is because the model doesn't retain information about what's going on outside of the frame. So if a camera pans away from the object and then pans back, the object might not be there anymore because the whole scene is generated on the fly. This is where the 14 billion parameter geometric brain of the LingBot World model comes into play. Unlike a standard video generator that simply guesses the next set of pixels, LingBot World uses camera intrinsics data and 6 degrees of freedom poses to match every pixel to a specific point in 3D space. It creates what researchers call object permanence, because it understands the mathematical relationship between the camera's lens and the environment. So basically it remembers that a specific object exists at specific coordinates. And this structural integrity is why this model is so massive and computationally hungry. How hungry? Oh boy, let me tell you. I tried deploying the LingBot World model on an instance with a single RTX 5090 GPU, and I tried running the basic sample demo they provided, and it just crashed immediately. It was kind of naive of me to think that a single 5090 would be able to handle that load. Then I tried running it with dual 5090s, and nope, it still crashed. Then I tried it with 4 5090s, and once again, it still crashed. Then I spun up a container with 8 RTX 5090s and tried running the basic demo example, and it still crashed. See, the reason is that when running this infinite world model for a prolonged period of time, the amount of memory this model has to store about the scenes keeps getting bigger and bigger, up to a point where you will just get an out of memory error because you just ran out of RAM. But I did manage to successfully run the sample demo on an 8 GPU setup by lowering the sample size from the default 70 to just 20. And honestly, the difference between 70 and 20 samples was not that noticeable. But this just shows how insanely computationally expensive running this infinite world model becomes. And getting back to Genie 3, this is exactly why they allow access to it for Ultra members only, because they need to somehow recuperate the GPU costs of running this thing. And this is also why you only get a certain amount of seconds for one demo, because at some point the memory just balloons to a point that the whole system just comes crashing down. And to give you an idea of how insanely expensive it would be to run such a model on consumer grade hardware, a single RTX 5090 costs up to $5,000. Now take 8 of those, which is the minimum required of running this thing. Man, even saying that out loud sounds ridiculous. But anyway, 8 of those will cost you up to 40 grand. Not to mention all the other parts and RAM, which is also exploding in price right now. And when you take that into account, this number, plus the max runtime limit of 60 seconds at which Genie is capping their runs, plus the ballooning RAM memory issue, are exactly the reasons why this whole infinite world model thing is just a hype and is not really remotely achievable on consumer hardware with the current architecture that we have right now. And even the authors of both of these tools are admitting these problems. The high inference cost currently necessitates enterprise-grade GPUs, making the technology inaccessible on consumer hardware. The simulation lacks long-term stability. This often leads to environmental drifting, where the scene gradually loses structural integrity over extended durations. Exactly. And at least the LingBot team is being open about it. Let's see what Google has to say about it. The model can support a few minutes of continuous interaction rather than extended hours. I mean, they're not openly admitting it, but at this point, we all know why that is. So that's why I'm telling you folks, traditional video games are not disappearing anytime soon. This just seems like a pipe dream at this point, and maybe, just maybe, in the future, if they figure out how to solve these computational problems, we might start thinking about this, but right now, bruh. Come on. I'm also super curious to try out LingBot Fast when it finally arrives, but until then, I don't think this technology is going mainstream anytime soon. But if you're curious about trying out LingBot World for yourself, here's my advice. Don't do what I did. Don't stack up 8 RTX 5090s together, because such a configuration on a platform like RunPod will drain $7 every hour of its runtime. Instead, spin up a single H200 container, which only costs $350 per hour, and set the nproc per node flag to 1, and maybe lower the sample count to 50 or even 20, and you'll be good to go. You could also use the 4-bit quantized version of this model, created by the user Kaylin Humphreys, which significantly reduces GPU memory consumption while maintaining comparative visual quality for inference. So you technically could try to run that on a single RTX 5090, and if you do so, let me know how it goes. So as for myself, I ran the basic demo on an H200 container, and yeah, basically got the same result as their demo page. And then I generated an AI image of this Viking fighting against Loki and fed this image to the same command, and this is the result I got. I guess you can see how the model maintains the integrity of the environment and the castle throughout the video, but it still generates some weird artifacts, so honestly, I don't know what to think of it, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I could generate a better gameplay video using a standard comfy UI pipeline. Which, by the way, if you're interested of learning how to make your own video generator like Sora without the heavy compute cost, check out this video I did a while ago on that topic. So there you have it, folks. That is my take on Genie 3 and all the hype and the future of video games. I really appreciate the team behind LingBot open sourcing their models so we can get a better insight as to how a Genie-like model works. But those are just my 2 cents on the topic. More importantly, what do you think about these infinite world models? I'm curious to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. And folks, if you found this video useful, let me know by smashing that like button underneath the video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. This has been Andres from BetterStack, and I will see you in the next videos.